topic, but I was going to ask you, especially with all this genetic stuff coming up, what your thoughts about the dire wolf that has been blowing up the internet.
Yes. Oh, the dire wolf hoopla, as I call it. So the best
Yeah.
of my knowledge is that the Colossal company was able to look at the genotypes of dire wolves through some ancient samples, fossils, and they were able to determine that at 14 sites out of 19,000 gene sites, 14 of them, they could see a little different nucleotide sequence. That being the AGCT, the four basic amino, the building blocks in the nucleotides. And so what they did was replicate that same AGCT or TCAG or whatever, the sequence that was from a dire wolf that was different from a gray wolf. So they're calling that creating a dire wolf. They didn't actually interject any dire wolf DNA into these genes, and it's 14
Right.
changes out of 19,000. So, did they create a dire wolf? I would say no. I would say it's an interesting process, and it certainly has amazing potential for conservation of other animals that still exist or extant, but very rare, like condors or red wolves or black-footed ferrets, where you could reproduce a clone-like animal. But did they create a dire wolf? No. And I found it,
Right.
between you and me and the camera here, I found it a little unnerving that some people have used this hoopla, say, for example, our present administration, to say, oh, well, geez, we don't need to worry about endangered species anymore because we can just recreate them in the lab if they go extinct. So we're going to do away with the Endangered Species Act. That's very alarming to me because
I
of the
couldn't agree
hoopla,
more.
not
Yeah.
because of the science.
Right. Right. It's actually straying away from the science and what the benefits could do, because it's I always say it's a lot harder to heal something, and when you're trying to do conservation work, you're trying to heal the environment. There's so much effort and time. It takes so much more effort to put that in and to heal something and heal an ecosystem than it is to just go out and kill something.
And,
So you
and
can't take that back.
yeah, and you think about it. So if we've caused the extinction of an animal, say the white rhino or almost extinction of ferrets or something, are we under
Yeah.
obligation, if we have the technology, to bring it back? Perhaps so. Are we aware enough of why woolly mammoths and dire wolves went extinct to really have the ability to say, well, gee, if we bring them back, they'll have a place on Earth? No, they went extinct because of forces that are not, at least in dire wolves, not human caused. It was due to climate change, and the gray wolves simply outcompeted the dire wolves, much like the Cro-Magnon outcompeted Neanderthals. So it's an evolution
Right.
based on climate change, and the one that's better adapted to use that landscape and the tool set that they have make it, and the others don't. What are you going to do with these two little cute little white pups? They're going to live the rest of their life in a pen. I mean, I personally find that kind of sad, but I do think the science has good merit for good conservation work, just not dire wolves.
Right, right. And I don't know, I don't, they say that they started with dire wolves because it would directly affect, hopefully, the red wolf efforts. And I know that sometimes there's bottlenecking, I guess, in genetics. So, hopefully, I mean, obviously it's a little past my pay grade, thinking about that stuff, but I like the idea of the hope that could really help with the conservation efforts and things like that. And if there is a genetic problem, and then also doing it in a humane way, like that they're taking it from the blood and not a tissue sample, is also very fascinating.
Yeah, and with the red wolves, I mean those animals, they're called ghost wolves down in the Texas coast in Galveston Island. They're a coyote that oftentimes has quite a bit of red wolf DNA in it, and I kind of think to myself, why didn't the company simply pursue that option and perfect it from that animal versus
Right.
a dire wolf, which has no touch base in reality whatsoever, and it's one of the species that evokes more fear in humans than any other that I can think of. So why not start with a practical application instead of going for something that's just so fantastical? I guess that's my thought.
Fair. Yeah, I think that's really good, and it makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad that you clarified too the the 19 or whatever 19th
14.
the whatever.
14.
Yeah,
Yeah.